Welcome to Vision Profiles, the podcast dedicated to Apple Vision Pro users. Hey, we explore hardware, software, apps, and the latest news in the world of spatial computing. This week, hey, what happened today? visionOS 27 Beta 3 lands fresh today, and basically just a few unknown updates, but we'll talk about it. Market report looks good in the news for Apple's rumored smart glasses coming up, and but it will probably delay Vision Pro 2 as it comes around. And Snap's Specs AR glasses go on for pre-order. And you know, when I saw that, I thought, maybe no. Yeah, I mean the down payment's not the thing; it's the full payment in the fall that's the thing. So lots of good things coming on. We have some fun little apps to look at and fun little links that people have put up about things that they're running. So I'm Marty Gensius, an associate professor at Kent State University, a podcaster and longtime Apple enthusiast.
Oh, and I'm Eric Bolden. I like playing with content and sharing it to other people. Photography, plants, birds, panoramic sequences, and of course, tea.
I'm Daniel Burkholder, a software engineer currently immersed in generative AI and AR/VR technologies.
And I'm Dave Ginsburg, the host of the In Touch with iOS podcast, IT professional, and iPhone subject matter expert. I am continually discovering the new ways Apple Vision Pro is shaping the future of computing.
You know, a reminder for our listeners and viewers that we live stream on Monday nights, typically at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch the video later if you don't catch us on the live stream, and the audio later. We are going to go dark next week because three of us will be at MacStock, and I'll probably be driving home at that point in the evening, and so we're just going to skip a week and pick up 2 weeks from today with a new episode. But you can get all the links that we talk about within the show notes of either the video version of the show or the audio podcast version. Just look in the show notes and you should be able to find the links for the things that we talk about and show during the show today. So, hey, big news. I was sitting here in the afternoon tinkering around and started to get notices that visionOS 27, I keep calling it developer beta, but it's really the only beta, if I'm correct with that. But
you are correct.
Beta 3 came out this afternoon. It was 12.2 gigabytes. I pulled down my M5 and loaded it on my latest Vision Pro, and it went smooth, no problem. And when I went back in to use it, no problems from what I can tell either. So it did some under the hood cleaning up. It's basically doing things like dealing with errors and, there's a list of things that we already know it does, like panorama photos can now be full spatial environments. But interface-wise, the app windows now have a curve shape if you want that. They're more immersive workspace. Control center has been reorganized. And at this point with Beta 3, you're just dealing with tweaks and issues. You can go, and we have the link to the show, and it's quite lengthy in terms of what's available for and what's new with with Vision Pro and all the changes that they did within the beta. So I'm trying to pull the link up and can't seem to pull it up at this point. But great. We've got another beta. They're saying maybe mid-July we will get a public beta. Well, public beta is not the case with this. It will either drop or as the new OS, probably sometime around July or late July, and it will be available for everybody's use. Any comments from the crew on this?
No, it's good to see that they made some more updates. You know, we don't get too overly excited about a beta. It seems like lately in visionOS, but this is definitely got some nice enhancements here. So I'm looking forward to put it on after the show because I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, so far it's been good for me. It's resolved some random issues I've had, like the Siri orb randomly appearing when I try to do Control Center, and then I get in some weird limbo where the orb wants me to touch it, but I don't want to touch the orb, and I can't find the orb to move it. And then eventually the orb decides to dissipate, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Daniel, what are you doing in your room with the door locked? Have you been touching your orb again?
I've been pondering that orb, you know. Actually, finally, I mean, I will, right? I'll be able to be like, oh, orb, you know, tell me your secrets.
You know, today I saw some things on Reddit where people were saying they were having problems with test flight. And this was before the beta 3 dropped.
Yeah.
And so funny enough, I was messing around with test flight because I promised somebody I'd take a look at their app. Someone will see it at MacStock coming up in a couple of days. So I knew I damn well better look at their app in VisionPro or there would be hell to pay. And I had trouble logging it in. And this was prior to the update. And so I didn't even know about the problems with test flight until after that. But finally, for some reason, I don't know, I tried it a couple of times and tried to open it a couple of times, and it finally took. And I was able to kind of do some tests, and at least in VisionPro on it. And then I shut it down, and then I got the notice of the new beta 3, loaded that up, turned it on, no problem with the app. So I don't know if in the background it corrected some test flight problems for folks. I just know I had a smoother option with it after I did the update. So
yeah, what it would do is like you try to launch like a test flight, like an app in test flight, and then there's just this box that would just hover.
There's just a plain white screen, and it's like, come on, come on.
And then eventually it decides to actually open, and so it had to be fine for the rest of the day after that. But yeah, I noticed that was fine. And I was trolling through the settings. I didn't see anything in particular. Though I discovered this in last beta, but I don't know if you noticed there's some new accessibility shortcuts for triggering actions with face gestures. So when I put the beta on, I was clicking links in Safari by opening my mouth, like or even like winking or pinching your cheek or whatever. You can set up some actions to do like clicks and whatnot, and that's cool. I mean, Apple's always ahead on accessibility things. I gotta appreciate that.
I finally found the link, and I didn't put it in my setup, but I found it and put it on. So for those who are viewing the video, you can see these are the beta release notes, beta 3 release notes. And usually these things are short. This has got a lot of information in it. I also heard about foveated streams, that you're able to do some 4K streaming without foveated. I read something about that today as a change. But this goes on for pages and pages with lots of workarounds right now, which hopefully, well, I'm sure will be cleaned up the best it can be before they put the final version of visionOS 27 out. Lots and lots of information. And I didn't didn't have an opportunity to kind of jump through this and pull out the changes that might be significant. But we'll follow more of this on Reddit and see what people have to say, because usually you get some reports of what's going on. Here's the test flight known issues. Apple apps installed via test flight may launch into a blank window with no content. Close the blank window and relaunch the app from the home view. The launch typically succeeds in 1 to 3 attempts. So yeah, apparently that's still part of what is a known issue, but it worked better for me with that today. So.
Yeah, and the only other thing I noticed from the last beta is it was more aggressive about if I was using my phone and like obscure like breaking my phone through with whatever window was in front of me, which was real interesting because it's like, I never noticed that before. I don't think it was there. So it's, I don't know. That was interesting. I thought. I still hold that I'd love it if when you're using your phone, it could just, because it knows it's your phone, project the screen on top of it virtually so you can see it sharper instead of through the cameras. So
Yeah.
maybe they're doing that. I'll cross my fingers.
Yeah. So
That would be cool.
So they get the phone mirroring, but inside the Vision Pro.
Yeah, and
That's
like
what
in
you're
real
asking
time, like
for.
I just pull it out and just it's like immediately just projected onto it. Like
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Let's see. Things went pretty smoothly for me. The only thing I noticed, because there were some postings about people having problems with Brave,
Yeah.
and it still doesn't open in beta 3. I haven't tried deleting the app and putting it back on again. Firefox is fine, and I might follow David's lead and try Microsoft Edge for my Chrome browser.
Huh.
I've been using Vivaldi as my
Ah,
Chromium alternative lately. It's all right.
that's good. Huh.
Yeah,
I
that's another
haven't
one.
attempted to load any of that in Vision Pro. I just kind of stick with
Yeah.
Safari, which for me has not been as intuitive a browser. And as they add more things to it, like tabs and categories and stuff like that, and it just gets weirder for me to even try and use that as a primary browser, just because I've been so Chrome based with my work and tied to that. So, but in Vision Pro, I'm using Chrome and haven't tried to play with, or using Safari and haven't tried
Safari.
to play with, with any
I,
other browser.
I really enjoy the Safari mode where when you've got lots of tabs, you can convert them to pages on a curved screen, and then you can kind of slide back and forth, but looking at groups of pages. That is awesome.
Yeah. Cool if you don't have a short attention span like I do. That's just a little too much excitement for me to have all of those tabs open at the same time.
Well, because
All right.
otherwise, I found myself always clicking from one tab to the other, and in between the clicks, forgetting what was on the one page, copying into the other page. This
Yeah.
way, you can have more than one page open without having multiple windows. So, I appreciated it.
All right. Let's move on. And we will look at a report from Apple today, or Apple World today. And this is a new report, is good news for the rumored Apple glasses, not so good news for Apple Vision Pro. And basically what they're saying here, making rounds up new market research, projecting the near-eye display market to grow 16% over year to year, but the growth in lopsided AR and AI smart glasses are surging, while VR headset shipments are forecast to decline roughly by 4%. We've already heard about Apple kind of shifting its focus to glasses while still retaining a Vision Pro 2 kind of team to look at advancements with that. Things like Ray-Ban Wayfarer style shaped glasses hey, should I wear those while we're at Macstock? And see if anybody really notices that I'm wearing sunglasses that I can record their most intimate moments with. I don't know what they'd be doing intimate out in the sun, but yeah. So one more note for VisionPro loyalists. The article revisits incoming Apple CEO John Ternus's most recent comments, calling spatial computing still in its early innings and pointing to growing enterprise and medical use cases. So that's what the article basically shares about that in terms of projecting what the future looks like with glasses versus full AR VR headsets. And we've had a bit of that discussion on here. Of course, the new news is Apple Vision Pro isn't the only future of AR. Specs, wearable computer built into see-through glasses are now up for pre-order. Is this what they're going to look like?
I mean, it looked like the
nerdy glasses.
Yeah, or like the glasses that you get when you go to the eye doctor, and you didn't bring your own sunglasses.
Yeah.
Or like even worse.
Yeah.
But like, man, I really would actually like a pair of specs, but I just don't feel like paying, because to me it really does seem like it's all the augmented reality stuff of the Vision Pro, but in glasses. Maybe a lower field of view, but still that's cool. But then it would just be kind of a side grade for me. It wouldn't be like an upgrade. If I didn't already have the Vision Pro, I'd probably go for them. But then I do worry about long term, like in terms of like a software ecosystem and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know much about what the ecosystem is from this article. They do talk about how they're going to have adaptive electrochromatic lenses that tint automatically based on ambient light. I have some of those. Well, they have them in the Ray-Ban versions. I have a Ray-Ban version of the Metas, and they don't tint very well. It's just not enough, and the transition is too slow for me. And I don't, I've had transition lenses that are not AR VR glasses, and the transition works okay, but it never gets quite dark enough for me when I'm out in the sun. So that's a piece of it. Full day capability. It's $21.95 with a $200 refundable deposit to hold your place for fall delivery. Ooh, it's a refundable deposit. But, just like Daniel said, this would wind up being a side piece, if you want to use a relationship analogy. This is the thing you got going on the side. I'm finding that too, the same thing with the Galaxy headsets. I put them on less than a great deal less than I put on the Vision Pro. So it's interesting, but I don't think for me that's money I want to spend on an unproven platform with unproven kind of security. Although the concepts of screen projection, if it can get me text on my glasses, that is pretty cool. I would just like to see. And are there videos of these things actually working and what they look like?
I think on from the event, but I don't know otherwise.
Yeah, well, from the event, S Lady was going to work for us immediately following 2 years ago. You know how well that went. And same thing with Galaxy, with the Galaxy XR. They did some wonderful things in the event, and it's still rather clunky in terms of an interface. And it hasn't lived up to event publicity with it. So, yeah, I want to, yeah.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see if you've got content you develop for the Vision Pro, what subset of that content will work with the specs. And I'm also really curious to see what kind of warranty coverage, because I can see myself going out, having a peacock fly at my head, and then breaking those side earpieces right off and having to, get them repaired. And I don't see a clear path to have that not cost a new set.
Yeah, will they have spec care? If
Yes,
you want to call
yes.
it that. And how good is spec care? Anyway,
And I guess I also would say that all of this news about glasses first and all that, I think it's actually good news for the Vision Pro,
yeah,
because I have no problem trying to upgrade to an M5, because I think it will be around for a long time before there's some really light version of the Vision Pro that comes out, and it's going to be useful for quite a bit of time. So I think that's good. When it was like, well, maybe in a year there'll be a new Vision Pro. And then it was like, well, do I really want to upgrade? Is it worth it from an M2 to an M5? There's almost enough stuff now to make it worth it in my case.
yeah. Speaking of which, the next article I want to cover is Apple Vision Pro M5 review. This came of manofmany.com, a site that it looks like it has tech, style, auto, culture, entertainment. And this was Apple Vision Pro M5 review, still a pipe dream. And it is after 3 months with the M5. This guy is doing a review on it. Ben McKim gives the M5 Vision Pro a 4.5 out of 5 after 3 months of daily use, praising the 120 hertz refresh rate for eliminating stutter entirely and calling Mac Virtual Display a genuine productivity cheat code, turning the MacBook into a 32 by 9 ultra wide monitor. Well, the refresh rate, cool, but you still get virtual display on the M2, so that's not distinct with the M5. Talks about the dual knit band. You can buy one. If you have an M2, you don't have to buy an M5 to get it, and that does help with it. Battery life remains the Achilles heel, 2.5 to 3 hours of general use through pass-through. Charging now lets you tether the USB-C charger indefinitely if you want to do that. A verdict, it's not a standalone computer replacement, but it's the world's most luxurious, uncompromised Mac accessory, is what he's saying in this article. So, yeah, if you can stomach the price, which was the other comment about it. So interesting article on there. And then another article, it's not an article, it's a Reddit post where someone is talking about M2 versus M5 Vision Pro revisited. Positives: boot up time, battery life, visual clarity. It's a big upgrade according to the poster here. Performance: it's hard to make it come to a standstill. It's smooth and lovely to use. And then talks about audio. Maybe just a variation from unit to unit. M5 sounds better than my M2. And fit and comfort, the dual knit, which of course you can get without having to buy an M5. So similar sort of differences between the two. You said that it could lead to an upgrade for you, Eric. What do you mean by that? What about it?
Well, it would be convenient to be able to watch some of the video coming off of YouTube, and you need
Okay.
an M5 for that. And I like widgets, and I use a lot of them, and I am at the point where I've almost saturated the ability of my M2 to put up widgets and have them stay responsive.
Yeah.
And still get other work done. So
Yeah,
I'm not rushing, but soon.
Yeah, I guess I'll tell the lag after a long session. Some lag kind of starts to come in there. But what YouTube content that you need an M5 for? I've been able to
If
watch
you,
at least 3D content on YouTube.
yeah, but a lot of the high resolution YouTube stuff is encoded with something that you can only decode on
Oh,
an
okay, AV1. Yeah,
M5,
AV1. Yeah, the
and
AV1 would be
you can
huge,
get, yeah,
actually.
and so sometimes you can get like a low resolution version of it, but you can't get the 4K stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm getting around that now by just downloading the video directly,
Oh.
and then I that works, but not everything has that option.
Yeah, the AV1 codec would be good, and the extra foveated rendering area and Mac Virtual Display I would appreciate a lot too, but
Yeah.
still not worth it to me yet to
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think
upgrade.
yeah, Dave, you were saying.
Yeah,
sorry.
same with me. Yeah, it's enticing to look at that some of the things it offer, and I'm just doing a summary of this discussion, and I still don't see any reason for me to upgrade. I use it, but I don't use it. If I was like using it like every day, like the thing you mentioned, might consider it, but I don't use it as much as I should. But I think I'm good with the M2 right now.
Yeah, is Eric, what plays into your thought pattern is the Vision Pro 2 got moved from 2027 to 2028.
Yeah.
So between now and then, there's a possibility of selling, upgrading, and then making a decision whether you want a VP2 should it come out in then. So if it still was a 2027 release date, you probably would be.
I just wait.
Yeah, no reason to get the M5.
Because I need at least 2 years of use to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to like turn around and buy something else after that. But if I can get 2.5 years out of it and something else comes out, yeah, I'm good.
Maybe I'll get a used M5 next
Good
year.
luck.
Yeah.
I'm looking. If I can find one, I would get it.
That might be a good compromise on my side.
I'd be curious how many of those apples even sold.
That's true. That's fair.
Now I did see one used M5, but it was $100 less than what Apple was selling it for new.
Not worth
it. That's not worth it.
Yeah, well, I don't have regrets in buying mine now. However, I have a second headset I don't use very much at all, only to upgrade it. And I'm too damn stubborn to give it to my son. Not that kind of meal ticket. Nah.
Yes, but then you could call him and then practice all of the things that need more than one device at the same time.
Yeah, try out like the share play features and stuff.
Oh, all that's cool, but you think my son and I have a relationship where I call him and he's willing to do stuff with me.
Well, okay, yeah, that might be more difficult.
Yeah.
He's got plans for recording a podcast with me tomorrow, but that was his idea. It wasn't my request. So we'll see what happens with that. We've got some folks in the chat room that I've just noticed, Statler and Waldorf. And
the one and only.
And what?
Said the one and only.
The one and only. At least the one and only that's actually talking or sending in comments.
No, I was meant it as them being the one, the only. Statler and Waldorf.
Do you think it's one, or do you think it's two people that are sitting together?
Oh, it's one guy.
Yeah.
With a Vision Pro, listening to podcasts at 8 p.m. Yeah.
He won't admit it.
You guys really picked a huge Venn diagram. People who own an AVP and listen to podcasts at 8 p.m. So we know they're in Central Time Zone.
Oh.
That's interesting.
I'm going to
dox you. Even smaller group.
Huh. All right. let's look at other. This is an interesting comment. Again, downgrade firmware M5 AVP. Hi, someone installed visionOS 27 on my device. First of all, I want to know
Who the heck did it?
let somebody.
I don't know why I did it, but I did it and I regret it. Now somebody did it.
No, this person is blaming it on someone.
Yeah, me, myself, and I.
And I thought
But
it said,
they don't. It doesn't matter now because they were only doing it because they couldn't get whatever that was app to work. The beta test
Flight.
app, Test Flight. Yes.
Yeah.
And now it works. So they just need to upgrade their beta.
Yeah, and I read this sentence as IT sucks for test flight apps, but it's a capital it. It sucks for test flight apps.
It could be capital or IT. You don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, could be that IT sucks for test flight apps. Any fix?
Yeah, but I don't think IT forced an update. I think that was all them.
Let's find out who threw a beta, a developer beta update on your Vision device. No need, and comments are in that talk about ways in which they can roll that back or deal with it without a dev strap in order to downgrade. So, some concerns about M5 in terms of coil whining, buzzing, electric noises from my M5 Vision Pros. So they own a few, I guess.
Yeah, it just I kind of want to know if they put in AirPods, does that all go away?
Yeah, I don't hear this stuff. Of course, I have tinnitus, so I constantly have coil whine, buzzing, and electronic noise going on in my ears. So anything that comes out of the headset into my ears is a vast improvement. So,
well, actually, if you recall, I had this with my N2 pretty bad, and where I don't know, I had to send it to Repair Depot like 2 or 3 times. And on the third time, it finally they came back fixed. Don't know what they did to fix. I think the first time they replaced. No wait, so I had my first one, which I got crack. Then I got my second one, and then I don't know when the coil whine developed. I don't know if it came that way or if it came at later. But then it's Repair Depot again. They couldn't reproduce it. And it's like, yeah, I know you're not going to be able to reproduce it. I have stupid good hearing. And then did it again, and I'm at the store, and then we swapped out like 3 different audio pods, and I could still hear it each time. So it wasn't like on the audio pod. And then this most recent time, it's good and fine now, thankfully, because it's like I was worried if because it's when especially if it's something like so high pitched.
Yeah,
and
that's really
most people can't hear it. Then you start to seem crazy, but it's like, no, I know I'm not, man, because I can hear it. I can put AirPods in, or like I could I maybe put them in somebody else, so the sound's going to them for sure, and then I still do stuff in the interface, and I can still hear it. It just makes you seem crazy. I mean, I'm sitting there in the mall trying to test it out, moving a window back and forth, because you can hear the coil whine react
as you shift
on the screen.
So if you were wearing AirPods, could you still hear it?
Well, no, because it would be playing audio, but like that's why I said like I would to sanity check, like I'd just like hold my AirPods so it thought they were in my ears and playing audio through them. But then then I could still hear it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't come through the AirPods. No, for sure. Definitely not.
Yeah.
But so
well, see, I was curious. I was curious because I was worried if I upgrade to an M5, it seems like there's a higher chance you have that problem. More people are reporting it, so I want to make sure that if I just put in AirPods, mostly that goes away.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing audio, you won't be able to hear it. And you had to be in a quiet room, but I like having quiet rooms, so of course I want to hear it more. But if you're persistent with going to them, they'll end up taking care of you. I was kind of
Yeah.
hoping I'd win one of those Apple support lotteries and I'd get an M5 out of it.
So the rule of the moral of the story is, if you want your stuff to break, send it to Daniel and he'll break it for you. And then it will, you can go through a series of repairs and maybe get an M5 out of it. This reminds me of that high-pitched whining sound, and Daniel, you alluded to it. I went to a lecture one time, and the person was, well, let's look at hearing loss over aging, which I thought was like the most ageist thing that you could do in public. So it was like, okay, I'm going to start out with a signal, and if you can hear this signal, raise your hand. And it was a low pitch signal, and everybody raised their hand. And as it went up, less and less hands rose.
Yeah.
But I kept raising my hand because I kept hearing the high pitch signal, even though I was at least 30 years older than everybody in the room. And the reason I could still hear the high pitch signal was the noise was coming from inside the house. Basically, my ear was generating.
I was already doing
And
it.
I just wanted to make a point. That was like the most ageist crap that you can do, making people raise their hands. Watch the old guy drop his hand first. So anyways, this is a kind of cool thing, and we have the link in here. I built Comic Vision, a complete comic manga reader for VisionPro, fully free with, it has an optional tip jar. And I think if people are building things for free and you're using them and find them useful, for God's sakes, tip. It's well worth it. So I don't know, because I'm looking through this to find out, how does one get this? Oh, it's in Apps Apple. It's free. It's in the Apple Store now. There it is on screen for folks. It's Comic Vision, manga and comic reader, free built-in, free in-app purchases. What are the in-app purchases? Probably tip jar.
Yeah.
Gold monthly, gold yearly. Yeah, a tip jar. But I wonder what constitutes a gold account and what one gets for that. But still, interesting app. I don't know if anybody reads that stuff or takes a look at it. Yeah, I'm looking through the app right here, and it looks like maybe they supply you with some samples, or maybe that's part of the gold. But they would have to get release to be able to just add stuff into it. So anyway.
Evidently, a lot of people are asking that same question, wanting to know if they could add an iCloud backed library folder, so you could add content from a Mac and then have it show up. So it'll be interesting. This is well worth peeking at.
Yep. Question that came up. I have been playing. What do you mean playing? I finally figured out how to use a Plex server. I'm not sure I've got it all figured out yet, Dave, but because I have to sort of be on the same network for the app to work. I've had some, I want to be able to do it from Illinois when I'm here my server's here in Ohio. But the question is, will we ever see Plex for Apple Vision Pro, and when might we see it? And the suggestion that they have in this is that Infuse, which I know Eric's a fan of,
Yep,
big fan,
is an option for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it matters if we ever get a native version, because their software's is
Yeah.
less than ideal for me.
Yeah. Infuse and Syn Ultra and a handful of other apps that offer built-in Plex support for the AVP. So the poster answered their own question there. This is pretty cool, I thought. It's $9.99 and it is a virtual keyboard. And I'm going to try and expand it for folks who are watching the video of it. They have a short loop video that has the keyboard projected on the table. So I went ahead and downloaded this, and there's a lot of conditions. Well, the other thing is you can have a muse if you have another reason, Dave, if you get that damn pen out and start practicing with it. You can use the muse as an input device, but there are some conditions with this, and
Okay.
one of the conditions is $10 one-time purchase. You have to have a flat surface to anchor it on, sort of like a widget, I would imagine. That it has to be on a table. And there is a companion app that you have to load on your whatever Mac you're using. The companion app is free, and it's available for loading. And I got that far and have not loaded it, but I do have this app in my VisionPro. So it's interesting. I don't know, Eric, if any of that excites you at all, or
Maybe I had missed the part about using it with the Muse and the extra app. So I got stuck on I wasn't sure I wanted to pay $10, but this is looking good. So I'll probably give it a shot.
You know what it reminds me of though? Those little I'm sure they still exist. Those little infrared projector keyboard.
those were
Dude,
so cool.
those are so
That's
cool.
so bad.
You'd see them all the time. They're so cool, but like also at the same time, it's like, I'm not getting that. So it really reminded me of that.
Yeah, they were so. I was like, I want one of those. I want to take that out and put it on a table at a
Feels so
meeting.
cyberpunk cool, you know.
Yeah. I never got one because I think they were pretty pricey for the gimmick, and it was uncertain as to how well it would work, given the lighting in the room and the ambience lighting. Here's an article that Eric posted, I believe, in our chat. Filmed a Revolutionary War reenactment documentary on Apple Immersive Video on Ursa Cinemmersive, free on VisionPro for America 250 celebration. And this is a YouTube, has a YouTube VR trailer in it. And we shared a little bit about this last week.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week. So,
but last week when we talked about it, I was still waiting for my download to finish. This week it finally finished, given my wonderful network. If you are a member of the Patreon sponsor for the producer of this, you can download the full resolution version, or if you have an M5, you can go to YouTube and get the full resolution version, which it looks much better than the lower res version. Kind of interesting. You get to see a bunch of cannons fire, a bunch of stories about people trying to make it across a river. It seemed like it was sort of an unfair advantage, since it was a bunch of troops that were on their way to get training and reinforcement of experienced soldiers from England, I guess, Britain, and they got ambushed on the way or drowned trying to cross a stream that had a bridge that was greased. Don't cross a greased bridge; it doesn't end well.
Yeah, my mother taught me that when I was young. Don't cross a greased bridge. That's a So it was basically the British well-trained troops against the Americans who hadn't
No,
even been
no,
trained yet.
no. There were a bunch of farmers and people in the colonies that were called on to travel to the coast in North Carolina, I think. I don't know. My history is a
Yeah, it
little
was North
vague.
Carolina. Yeah.
And they were going to meet up with British soldiers that were arriving by ship at the coast. And so they were trying to get there, even though they thought there were no troops in the area, so it was safe. But there was a whole group that ambushed them as they came across a bridge. They had broadswords and sticks, and the American soldiers had portable cannons and smoothbore
Yeah.
rifles or whatever, not rifles, I guess, smoothbore, basically shotgun, single cell or single bullet shotgun, whatever those things are called. But yes, it was, yeah, they were outclassed and untrained. They had books, but they hadn't had a chance to read them yet. Yeah.
Oh, we have somebody join us, the Floodlight Show. Always love catching you guys live. You know, Eric, I tried to, and I think I faithfully every night watched the American Revolution, that Ken Burns thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if
yeah.
anybody else
It
saw
was
it.
a little long.
It was a little long, and it was like a little too much detail. The narrative arc was all over the place. And it was a tough watch. And then I guess they rebroadcast it again this weekend, and I tried to tune in for bits and pieces of it because it feels like you should know something about that. I mean, just as we know about the Civil War, you should know something about that history. So, anyways, this seems like a interesting thing to look at.
And it was neat
Yeah.
because they demoed like a breech load process, and they demoed the cannon, and you get to see it up close. You get to see a broadsword. You get to see uniforms, people standing around. It was raining. You could hear the raindrops as they were trying to film. Yeah.
Yeah, great
Okay,
North Carolina weather in what looks like the
Yeah.
fall from the trees in the background. So yeah, what else do you expect? Here's an interesting post. I like to look at these things just because they give me ideas of things that I should put on my Vision Pro. This comes out of Reddit, and someone posted, "What are your favorite VR games to play on AVP?" And they list things there. They list things like Beat Saber, Sports Bar VR, Aces of Thunder, Operation Wolf, Aim Assault, Premium Bowling. I do like the bowling. The bowling is really pretty cool. Retrocade, which we've talked about, Arcade Time Capsule, and Half-Life. And then you get some other folks that are posting what their favorites are. Concerns about PSVR 2 controllers. So yeah. Yeah, there are some really fun apps that are AR VR. I like fishing. That for me is there's a couple of really good fishing apps. Some of it is sort of like just chill and catch some things, and then other ones are like, oh, you have to work up the leaderboard, and I don't want to be competitive when I go fishing. I just want to fish, particularly if I'm going fishing virtually. So those are kind of cool things. I don't know if there's anything that comes to mind with you guys in terms of AR or VR games.
I think Marty would like Power Wash Simulator VR.
Oh yeah, I think I have Power Wash Simulator. I think I have it. Because that came out on Meta, the Meta headset, and first, and so I got it. Then there are a bunch of other simulator programs, they call them, and they're basically produced by the same company. And these things have now been ported over into Apple Vision Pro, and so they're fun. But Power Wash is like, yeah. And they should have like a mowing the lawn simulator where
Oh my god, you
you
get
can just
scored
kind of,
based on how good the pattern you got going on is.
yeah, and you can just, you don't have to, all you have to do is move your hands or do a gesture to move forward without actually having to walk, and it does the virtual lawn around you.
Oh, actually,
Brian
do you see the?
Brian says he loves Power Wash simulator. So
I
he's got
remember
a fan.
there's some augmented reality games on the Vision Pro, like to vacuum and like collect coins while you're vacuuming in your house or whatever. That, but mowing the lawn.
Ah.
Though I can't imagine. I'm not. You know, I'm gonna. Let's just say I get really sweaty really quick wearing the Vision Pro while mowing the lawn.
Yeah,
Well, see, what I want is I want mowing your lawn while shopping in a grocery store with a shopping cart. You're going along wearing a Vision Pro in public, going on, and the grass is growing up, and you have to go down the different. That appeals to me.
Eric, what color is the sky in your world? Because you have such interesting needs.
I just, it gives you something else to stare at on the ground instead of just concrete, or tile.
Okay, so now I'm going to put you on the spot.
You need to try acid.
Yeah,
That'll have something more interesting to look at on the ground.
I am putting you on the spot because you posted this like an hour before show, and I'm trying to figure out why you posted I did it.
For the comments, because the comments were actually good.
Okay,
it's all the comments. So somebody like just got picked up a Vision Pro, and then the first comment was congrats, welcome to the club, and then everybody's telling him what he should do with it, and it was kind of neat, like use it for exercise on elliptical or rower, change the background, watch VR 180, and so you've got something there. Do the dishes with your Vision Pro on, and it's more entertaining. I'm not sure how you get your dishes clean if you're watching a video in Vision Pro, but whatever. Mac Virtual Display, and go out and buy an Insta360 or VR 180 camera, capture the moments, relive them later on while you're doing dishes, I guess. Install ML Sharp and convert your photos to 3D, view it with a splatter viewer so you can kind of walk around and see behind the subjects of your pictures. Take all your pictures, spatialize them, add depth so they're not still flat, get some panoramic images, and surround yourself with a background that has depth. So many magical ways to use an incredible device. And that was the first comment. And it went on from there. Get test flight, and then a whole list of things to try. Watching 4K Blu-ray or 3D movies in an ultra IMAX style environment is glorious. And then somebody posted, well, I finally pulled mine out of the closet yesterday. I watched Metallica for the 100th time, and I'm hoping my wife will let me get tickets. And there was a whole separate stream about, what you should really do with that. And, I'm not going to go into that. And then somebody says, well, don't rear end anybody on your way home. And then this one was actually, and then there's one saying, well, you got it, how were you able to afford it? And they said, well, I was able to afford a used car for $4,000, and it's basically the same price as an Apple Vision Pro. So of course, anyone who could get a car can afford the Apple Vision Pro. I'm thinking maybe the car to get to work, maybe
a little more
gives you
useful.
more back, but yeah, so you get the general idea.
There's that.
It was the comments.
Yeah, and you went short on the Metallica comment. and I think it deserves a little bit more detail. One person commented, hoping my wife, and quoted, hoping my wife will get me tickets. And their response was, you need a girlfriend and to get out more. And then
There's that.
the one that followed, my wife handed me 4 Metallica fourth row tickets immediately after finishing her morning Hummer, I guess we should call it. She knows I love Metallica, and that Hummers that end with a gift of gratitude are the kind I really remember. Love that little gal. Always thinking about me. Thanks, Eric. You picked the perfect Reddit post. I did it. And
He always does.
and so there we go. Now to kind of I think balance out this. This is this is kind of a palate cleanser from your past post. You also shared apps for Apple Vision Pro, and this is a site that is simply appsforAppleVisionPro.com, and it's got a good collection and curated version of various apps. Some of this stuff I haven't heard of before. I kind of think this site has been redone. It came out maybe 2 years ago, and it was not as well developed. And this has got some interesting connections. So you have best Vision Pro apps, including top productivity apps. And you click on there, and there's some that are like, this is interesting. Well, planning is about the only one that I've heard of from that group. Pomodoro to-do list, things like that.
And if you click on that first apps one, the all of the apps, then right there. Then there's a category it's a pop up
Right.
where you can select your category, and it gives you everything in a particular category. I think people have to submit apps, so it's not every app in existence, but it's a neat way to look through. And you can, of course, look through while you're not using a Vision Pro.
And even have this.
Yeah.
Even have
Go
this
ahead, Dave.
in open in Safari, and being able to hit these apps and be able to install them a lot easier than having to fish through Apple's App Store.
Yeah, better search than that. The App Store in general actually is pretty bad for search
for Vision Pro. It is, yeah.
I'd say overall. I mean, if it doesn't come up in the first couple of results, or if you just want to like kind of casually browse, it's not good anymore in that regard.
Yeah, and then finally, something I and this is the Apple App Store for Vision Pro, and I can't find an easy way to find that, so I always have to find an app that I have stored and able to get to it.
Yeah.
And again, this shares the table keyboard type on the Mac. So the thing here is, I think it's the link that you have to do to get to it, or at least to get to a pull down menu, is https apps.apple.com/us/app, and that brings you to a blank page where you can pull down and select what devices you want to look at in terms of apps. So apps.apple.com/us. And I guess if you want to go directly to Vision, you just go /Vision, and that will take you to the Vision page where you can then select down from that. So, yeah. Then you can do your search within that area and select games that you're interested in. You can see what's new and some of the stuff that we talk about with it. So, maybe what you want to do with that is I put it up in my tab, up top tab, so that when I want to start looking for something in Vision, I go there.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. And that takes us to pretty much the end of the show. So,
Good stuff.
yes. So let's find out where people can find folks. We'll start with Eric.
I can be found on Mastodon at where is that? EA Bolden at mes.to. Otherwise, Sunday nights on the Neo Notebook. Mondays here on Vision Profiles. Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live, and finishing out the week Thursdays on In Touch with iOS.
All right, Daniel.
I'm here every other week or so, and otherwise my social is IO Expander on Blue Sky.
Dave.
You could find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com, but you actually can find me at MacStock this week if you're listening to this, so you should be coming to MacStock. On Sunday nights, on Neo Notebook here on Mondays. Tuesdays, Mac Voices Live. Thursdays, we're going to be, we usually record the show. We're doing a live show on Wednesday nights at the MacStock. And then Friday, the Tech Hangout. As I wrap up my podcast, and you can find me on Blue Sky, Mastodon, Dave G65.
And for me, you can find me at Gensius on Blue Sky, Mastodon, and other socials. We've already talked about a lot of these. Neo Notebook on Sunday, this show, Vision Profile, on Monday, Chuck Joyner's show on Tuesday with Mac Voices, Dave's show on Thursday, a variety of other podcasts that I produce and I'm on. You can find at thepodtalk.net. That's the site that I try to collect as much as I can under that so I can send people to that place to look at other shows. Brian is already cheering in the group MacStock. Yeah, it's only a couple of days away. And looking forward to it. I still have a lot of prep work to do for it in the process, but that's me and that's my workflow. So it'll be great to see Eric in the flesh, Dave in the flesh. Daniel, we got to get you there next year, just for shits and giggles, to have you with us as part of that process. And Brett Kennedy will be there. Chuck will be there. Just a ton of folks that if you're into the pot, and Brian will be there. Brian's presenting. So all sorts of great stuff happens at MacStock. It's the one a year event. My wife refers to it as the Treehouse of Nerds. And she said, when you're done, when lunch is ready, I'll call you in for lunch. Come down from the Treehouse of Nerds. But she lets me play, which is the best part of it. We get to play and to have a good time. Yeah.
Brian is not speaking at MacStock this year.
Oh, he's not speaking at MacStock. Sorry, Brian. But he is going to be there.
He's going to be
there. Yeah, he's going to be
And
there.
if you run into him, he'll be willing. I'm sure he'll be willing to chat with you.
Yeah.
Just say hi, Brian, and he'll respond.
Especially about
That's close
sports.
Enough. Yeah. He's a bit of a sports fanatic and likes. He puts on the wrong team's hats, though. He's a Packers fan, so.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know. The people are the real owners of the Packers. Yeah, put that cheese hat on.
That one share, it's worth nothing.
Jenny's a part owner.
Yeah, have fun. So let's wrap it up. This wraps up another VisionPro and show, and thank you for joining us on Vision Profiles. Thanks to the folks in the chat room, Brian and Statler and Waldorf were in the Floodlight Show, who said, always love catching you guys live with a smiley face. Thank you. So a fun chat room to join live if you want to join us on Monday nights at 9 p.m. We're taking next week off to recover from MacStock, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. So join us then, and enjoy the show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to us or watching us live. And thank you for picking up the show later if you can't watch us live. You can connect with us on YouTube at youtube.com/@visionprofiles. You'll see all the old recorded shows there. Also, email us if you have some ideas. And you can do that at the podtalknetwork@gmail.com. That's where all the email comes through for the shows. And then the website, thepodtalk.net. So, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being a part of this group. And support us, subscribe, send comments, send emails. It just keeps us going with that. And we'll catch you next time.